Hello and welcome to Last Week in SiN. I am Mr.Andersin coming live to you at prime time on Thursday. We're about to kick off the weekend for some people. We're about to get serious, so we're going to talk about Last Week in SiN, week 20. We're still catching up, so we wanted to celebrate all the cool things that happened back in week 20, so we're going to showcase the top 7 events of week 20 of 2017. Join me as we talk about it. A little bit of a spoiler there if you haven't figured it out. But if you haven't, you're in for a treat. Let's get to it. Number 7, this cosplayer, along with a few others, we did an actual Star Trek themed cosplay thread, which we shared and became the number 7 hit, which was pretty impressive. It's the first time anything Star Trek's actually made the list, which I was a little surprised about. We've ran some things with Star Trek in the past, and we hadn't gotten a lot of love for it. But this week, finally, Star Trek made it to our list, so I was thrilled to see that. Being a lifelong Star Trek fan myself, check out the thread right down here to actually see the rest of the, I think there were 2 other cosplayers that were involved in that thread, so that was fantastic. Number 5, now this one was cool. This is actually Fetish Babies artist, Satane Zilli. I got to open the box of Fetish Babies that we'd sent her from Florida straight to Prague. Not cheap either. She got to open it, and we got to see her for the first time looking at it. And we wound up writing a thread on the site about the fact of how gigantic of a reach the Fetish Babies team had, from Mexico to Prague to New York City to Florida to Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, or just outside of Detroit, Michigan. We're all over the place, the creative team that was behind issue 1. So, I mean, that was awesome. And of course, remember that one of the main characters is New York City. So that was cool to see a reaction. We were happy to see that so many people loved it. As a matter of fact, the next from 6 to 1 was a tight race for once in a week. There were shifting, and there were things that moved up and down as we watched the week. I remember I was excited to do this week because this was a week where there was a lot of views, and there was a struggle to really define who went where. It wound up being like a few views apart for each one as we go up, and like I said, it was a massive week of views. So this was impressive. So number 5 was Johnny C. Johnny C had asked us to talk about Surrounded by Death, and we did. And we are very thrilled to see how many people were actually talking, or at least viewing it on our site, and a couple people I know shared it. It's still available. You can get it right here by clicking this. As a matter of fact, because we're live, we'll do it right now. We'll let that load. And we're going to take a quick look, and there it is. You can buy it today, $3.99. Add it to your cart on Comixology and Amazon Company. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and add it to my cart, and now I'm going to buy it. Johnny C., I'm taking on Surrounded by Death. That was number 5. Number 4 in the countdown was Fetish Friday. Now, I'm going to take a minute to explain fetish. A lot of people confuse sexuality for fetish. This applied because she's wearing leather, and leather can be a fetish. Something that is a fetish is a sexual desire, not something that is necessarily just sexual. Things that are fetishes that you would not expect to be fetishes can be including balloons. So when we do Fetish Friday, and we're going to try to go back to doing Fetish Fridays in the future, and we're adding tattoos to Fetish Fridays, because tattoos can, in fact, be a fetish. They can be something that is sexually attractive to someone, and someone might choose to only sleep with someone with tattoos. It's a true story. So that would be a fetish. It's something that controls you in a sexual way, that is something that you need to have. Even if it's not sexual in nature, it could be just an obsession. Like shoes can be a fetish to a woman, as can wearing leather be a fetish. And it's not always something that is just a turn on. The actual official definition of fetish, and we'll take a quick minute just because it's my show and I can do whatever I want. And that includes spelling fetish wrong if I want to. Oh, cool, look, my site comes up. That was not on purpose, I promise. That was just in my browser history. And there it goes again. I swear I'm not doing it. If I can, I'll just have to hit space, 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 space. There we go. Okay. And it still did it. I swear to you, I'm not doing this on purpose. That's the site, Fetish Babies. We'll go definition so it doesn't do that. Okay, here we go. This is the definition of fetish, and I'm going to pan the camera. Okay, a definition of a fetish, and I'll read it, is a form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree of particular object, item, clothing, part, etc. An excessive or irrational devotion or commitment to a particular thing, an intimate object worship as it opposed to magical powers, or because it is considered to be inhabited by a spirit. Now, one of the biggest thing that people are known for fetishes is BDSM, which is bondage dominance. Depending, I mean, BDSM could be bondage dominance, slave master, could be bondage dominance, because the B and D don't generally change. They can, but the other one is sadomasochism. There's some other ways it could go, but either way, BDSM, because I don't want to spend all day giving a lecture about this, often fits into it because it becomes about sexual desires in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree. Abnormal degree to a particular object isn't always the case. It always does take into effect the things that you would need for sexual gratification, which can be pain, which is something that's not listed. It can also be the way that a person being tied up or tying a person up. So there's a lot more that goes into fetish than just sexuality. So when we were doing Fetish Fridays, very often people were just giving us nude pictures or nude art, and that's not what fetish is. Fetish is a little deeper. It's a little more intertwined. It has to do with the way that people feel about certain objects, certain things. Leather, like I said, could do it. Heels can do it. Feet can do it. So, I mean, I could do a whole class on this. If you guys want me to do a whole class on what a fetish is, I'll do it. But for now, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to enjoy how amazing Dan DeMille made this look and how perfectly it fit in Fetish Fridays. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to have a new Fetish Friday, and it's going to focus on a tattoo. So we are going to be adding Fetish Fridays and Sinful Ink to be together on Fridays. Just as a quick thing, as we go to number 3, which is another cosplayer, we are going to be switching the format out where we're no longer going to be Sins of the Day. We're doing this just for the summer because I want to try something different. And what we're doing is we're trying to do fan art. We're trying to do things for like Comic-Cons over the summer. During the fall, we'll probably go back down to each day having a particular thing. But for now, we're trying to fill the summer with fan art and creator-owned art. So if you have any creator-owned art, fan art, share it with Written Sins, and we'll put it on our site during one of the days of the summer. Next, we have this amazing cosplayer who is Nash McKenna Thompson. We actually got to meet her and we got to talk about her. This was during the celebration of 1 week of SiN. So we had our greatest hits during this week. So this week was amazing. She was amazing, beautiful woman, pulled the character off completely. Absolutely fantastic. Has a fan page. I definitely suggest it. Number 2, Slave Lady Deadpool. We have been searching for her. Like, I mean, if anyone knows who this amazing cosplayer is, she is the #1 cosplayer on our site. No one has beaten her. No one has a chance of beating her after, I mean, we're talking thousands of views for this picture, and we still have not found her. I'm very disappointed in that fact. We are looking for her high and dry because we just want to give her the credit. I never saw this. And I'm surprised no one has copied it yet with as many views as this has gotten. Honestly, I think this is, for our site, might be going over 10,000 views at this point, just for this particular picture and just for this search. So that tells you how engrossed people are with this picture. And that's counting, if you count how many times it's been shared on social media. We share these on social media. You don't necessarily have to come to our site to see the picture. You can sometimes see the site in the preview on Facebook. This got viewed on Facebook, I think, like 25 to 50,000 times each time that we were, you know, the little analytic it says, each time that we did it. And if you notice, we're just going to take a second. There's a tattoo on her forearm. So if you're trying to identify if you know her, possibly, there's one on her forearm and one on her shoulder. So, and she looks like she's a natural blonde. So if you know someone who went to the Tampa Bay, I believe this was the, no, this was Miami. This was in Miami. This is Miami SuperCon last year, 2016. It was right near the July 4th weekend. Because I actually just got back up from July to be at home on July 4th. So actually July 4th, it fell, though that Sunday was on July 4th, or Monday. That was July 4th. So if you know her, please tell us who she is. Amazing cosplayer. We really want to give her the credit and thank her for, I mean, she was one of the first cosplays that we actually put out there for there, and it really inspired a fandom for our cosplay. So we want to thank her and give her the credit and showcase her and do an interview with her. Finally, number one, we have, and we can't talk nicely enough about this. This is Danny Smith. Danny Smith in her color book named Boobs has been a number one with a bullet in every way. I mean, Danny Smith has set the records, set the bar. 1 year of SiN. We've slowly seen other things beat her with the record she set, but she set the record. She was the record setter. She was the bar that other threads had to do it. And mind you, she set records when Written Sins was 2 months old, when Creators Written Sins was just 2 months old. So, I mean, the fact that a year later she still holds, I believe, 2 records, that to date, I mean, the busiest day in Written Sins history is because of her. And no one can take that away from her. And I believe the most viewed thread. She has had the most viewed thread that has not been beaten. Fetish Babies might overtake her eventually with the second Kickstarter, because we have increased our viewership from 10 subscribers to going on 18,000 subscribers now. So, I mean, I think Danny should come out with Boobs 2. And I think Boobs 2 should go up against Fetish Babies 2 to see who can win in a fair fight now. Because I almost feel like if Fetish Babies 2 beats Danny Smith's Boobs, that's so weird to say all that. But if it does beat her Boobs, it's almost unfair because everyone has seen this. I mean, but like literally these are the top 2. Fetish Babies and Danny Smith are always the top 2. On any time I look at something, they are always the top 2 getters. Danny Smith's an amazing artist. Make sure to check her out. Make sure to become a fan of her. And as always, we end every show asking the most important question. Are you one of us? We've been talking about what it means to be one of us. Want to know what one of us is? One of us is someone who's tired of the rebuild culture, who loves cosplay and creative new worlds. If you like that stuff, then you already are one of us. The only thing that you have to do now is subscribe to not only our site, but our satellite groups and pages on Facebook and our YouTube channel. If you want Twitter, I don't know, Twitter seems to be dying lately, unless you're Donald Trump. Donald Trump loves Twitter, but I like to put things on Twitter and then just walk away. And every so often scan through it. But there's so much content in Twitter, it's a lot of noise. See Donald Trump comments for that. He seems to be the only one on Twitter who's getting any notice lately. Everything else we post, we get more love from Facebook, obviously, which I just celebrated 19,000 likes on Facebook. How weird is that? I didn't know they would even track that. Cool creative stuff and other indie comic market stuff that we get to show you on a daily basis. It's time for you to become one of us officially by subscribing to our site and our YouTube channel. That has been Last Week in SiN, week 20. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go do my physical therapy for the day. You guys have a great weekend. I'm sure we'll do another video, but some of you might be going off to enjoy a weekend, because I know this is the weekend that some kids are out of school for some families, so they're starting their vacation early. And next week is the last week of school for most kids. So this is the last week of school for some kids. So like summer's here. Get some sunscreen. We'll be talking about the fact that it's fall already before you know it. So enjoy your summer, guys. That has been Last Week in SiN. As always, I thank the sinners, the fans, and the creators for making Written Sins what it is today.